There is no work-life balance. There are work-life challenges, and we make decisions and we live with them. Do you think Elon Musk has work-life balance? No. Do you think Steve Jobs, when he was alive, had work-life balance? No. Do you think Bill Gates? No. Henry Ford? No. So if none of those people that created the wealth of the world had work-life balance, why do you think you're going to have it? Why? Because you deserve it? I don't think so. When I was in grade school, I didn't have any dreams. The only goal my father had for me was to keep me alive, not dead till I reached the age of reason. He didn't know if that was 20, 30, 40, or ever. And I didn't really establish goals other than staying alive because I got in a lot of trouble. When I was in the grammar school, I tried to kill my teacher. I got expelled, not from the school, but from the district. They wouldn't allow me to go to school in the district. I've been arrested and in jail 5, 6 times. Then I went into the military, and that straightened me out and made a man of me. My dad was a high-profile policeman, hard, tough guy.
What did you learn from him?
Well, I learned that discipline, focus, honesty.
The basic rules.
Yep.
So what did you do after school?
Got in trouble, did awful things, got in fights, beat up people, hurt people. By the grace of God, I lived, went off to the military, entered a private, came out 4 years later, an officer, and I was getting a big award in the military. And there was a 2-star general that was pinning something on my chest, and he said, you know, if you were in the real world, Danny, you could probably get rich. And a light bulb went off over my head. I had never thought of that before. I didn't know how much $1 million was, except for about that same time frame. One of the other young officers inherited $1.4 million, and he was buying all the officers' drinks in the officers' club. And I said, well, why is John buying us all drinks? He says, he just inherited $1 million. And I said, write it down for me. I'm 22 years old. And he put it with the zeros. I go, I didn't know how many zeros $1 million had. And then the general said that if you went out in the real world, Dan, you could probably make a lot of money. I then, within a week, I took action. I reversed my paperwork. I just put in paperwork to be a permanent military forever, and I reversed it to get out. I got out 5, 6 months later. I came back, went back to school where I had to get special permission because I had flunked out 3 times out of university, and then I graduated ultimately with honors. And I wanted to go where the action was, and the action in those days, and this was in 1972, was on Wall Street. So I went to work for a Wall Street firm, and I was really good at it. 1, I was a good salesman. 2, I had learned to be articulate, and I had already self-confidence and self-esteem.
What is self-esteem?
Self-esteem is what most of your parents didn't give you. It's a form of self-confidence. It's a form of self-awareness. It's the least informed thing that our parents know anything about. Self-esteem is the bedrock of high performance. It's the bedrock of everything. And it's the least thing that is taught in schools. Most parents aren't capable of creating high-performance kids. It's bloody hard to be a high-performance person. Any person that tells you any different is full of, and they haven't been successful.
What can you do to build self-confidence and self-esteem?
You are who you hang around with. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Self-esteem is built the first 7 or 8 years of life. Who are you around the first 7 or 8 years of life? Mom, maybe dad, older brother, uncle, a grandmother, right? What the hell do they know about building self-esteem? They don't know anything. And now, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Who do you go hang with? Who do you chill with? Bill Gates doesn't hang. Steve Jobs, who I knew, didn't chill. Warren Buffett doesn't hang. Elon Musk doesn't hang. And I go down the list of people that don't hang. Most people are living quiet lives of desperation because your parents lived quiet lives of desperation, and their parents, and maybe then the ones before that lived quiet lives of desperation. 87% of the planet hate what they do. They've checked out. They're just taking up time, waiting for retirement. Very few people are happy with what they're doing. And if you want to build self-esteem, deal with people that have high self-esteem. practice success before you're successful. Before I had any money, I used to go to the Rolls Royce dealers and sit in the cars and smell the leather, touch the leather, okay? And these days, this is 40 years ago, I went to $1 million houses, and my wife and I would walk through the house, and they'd say, when are your parents getting here, kids? No, we are the buyers. You only have one time to make a first impression. The first impression is how you look. You dress like, and you blame it on the 21st century, the reason why you dress the way you do. 25 years ago, if you come to a seminar like this, you'd all be wearing suit and tie. 40 years ago, the women would be wearing hats. This is my uniform. I don't go to sleep like this, but I mean, this is my uniform. It has been for a long, long, long time. If you want to get money from banks, dress like the president or the prime minister of your country. You only have one time to make a first impression, kids. You come in looking like some of you, I wouldn't give you toilet paper. Second impression is when you open your mouth. Most of you, with the greatest respect, can't speak properly. You stutter, you mumble, you sweat. So you go where there are people that you want to be like. Find somebody that is where you want to be 20 or 30 years from now, and go to him or her now. I had the presence of mind to be attracted to some very, very famous, very wealthy people in my 50-year career, and I went after them to, not for money, not for anything like that, but I just wanted them to talk to me and to share their wisdom. And today, people are afraid. You can find the people. You want somebody you personally like a lot. You want somebody that you have something in common. Money's not the only thing in life, but it's the only thing anybody keeps track of. It's the only thing that you write down, you know. I keep track of the lives I change now. That's a new metric for me. It's bloody hard to be a high-performance person. I slept in my office. I didn't have an apartment. Bill Gates slept in the office. Steve Jobs slept in the office. And I can go down a whole list. Now, these are super successful, mega wealthy guys. Not everybody's willing to make that sacrifice. But even if you don't sleep in your office, if you want to send your kids to a better school, if you want to be able to take care of your mother when she gets dementia, this all takes money. Most people procrastinate because they're unsure, so just do it. I've never had a problem just doing it. Because one of the things is you learn as a young combat infantry officer is time costs lives. Fred Smith, who I like a lot, who is a similarly trained officer like I was, who was a Marine officer, he said, when I learned that mistakes weren't causing arms and legs in life and death, making decisions was easy. We overanalyze because we're unsure. We don't overanalyze because we are not sure if it'll work or not. We're more worried about, on the emotional side, it embarrassing us. We have two bank accounts in life. We've got an emotional bank account and a financial bank account. Most of us, not me, but most of us worry about the financial bank account. But it's your emotional bank account that you're going to run out when it's cold and windy and you're at night, nobody there to wipe your tears away. It's your emotional bank account. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what if you could accomplish in the world today if you weren't afraid? If you weren't afraid of what people thought of you, said about you, whispered about you, what could you accomplish? A lot more than you've accomplished today. A lot more. Why do we care what people think? Why do we care what people say? And more importantly, why do we care what people whisper? Because we have no self-worth. We have next to little self-esteem. And we have no self-confidence. When was the last courage type thing that you did in your lifetime? When was the last time you exhibited some courage? Some of you have to go back a long, long way. Some of you never.
What's the best advice? How to do it?
The best advice is find something you love. Find something that can change 1 billion lives. You may not get to 1 billion people, but potentially you can make 1 billion lives better. 85% of financial success is due to your personality and your communication skills, not the degrees you have, not what you learned on a podcast. Our parents tell you can be anything you want. That's bullshit. You can't. You can do anything you want that you have passion for, because that eliminates most of the crap. Most people don't follow their dream. Now, I still dream. I dream in Technicolor. I say my affirmations and goals every single night. You know, like they say in The Sound of Music, you can't have a dream come true unless you have a dream.